Good morning. Welcome to the Johns Hopkins School of Education, Master of Science in Education, International Teaching and Global Leadership, also known as ITGL virtual webinar. My name is Theon John. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions. Also presenting today, I have my colleague from the Office of Admissions, and she will introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tanya McMillan. I am an admissions coordinator here at the School of Education. Welcome.
And also presenting today, we have Program Director, Dr. Richard Weisenhoff, and Program Administrator, Ms. Betsy Mayotte.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
And before we get started, I would like to cover a few housekeeping topics. First, today's webinar is being recorded. We will be able to share a link with you after the event is complete. And also, please take a second to see if your mic is on mute and video is off right now. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Leave a question in the chat box and we'll read and answer your questions. And next, I would like to share the agenda for today's presentation. We'll kick off the presentation sharing an overview of the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Then Dr. Weisenhoff and Ms. Mayotte will go over the details of the ITGL program. And lastly, we will cover admissions requirements, financial aid, and leave the floor open for questions at the end. And to start, we are one of 9 schools at Johns Hopkins University. We began offering college courses for teachers in 1909 and then became our own school in 2007. And we are proud to share that the Johns Hopkins School of Education is consistently ranked one of the top schools in education by the U.S. News and World Report. For school enrollment, we have approximately 2,367 students and offer 27 graduate programs, which includes doctoral, master's, and graduate certificate programs. And we have a strong network of over 22,000 SOE alums. Moving on to faculty introductions. Dr. Weisenhoff is the faculty lead for the ITGL program. He received his Doctor of Education from the University of Maryland, College Park. His research focus is using technology to deliver personalized learning. And lastly, Dr. Weisenhoff's prior experience includes being the Executive Director of Academics for the Baltimore County Public Schools. And moving on to Ms. Betsy Mayotte. Ms. Mayotte is a Program Administrator for the Her prior experience includes Associate Dean at the School of Education, Vice President at Thompson Prometric, Director at the School of Education, and Director of Development at Stevenson College. And at this time, I would hand the floor over to Dr. Weisenhoff for the program presentation.
Hi, everybody. Ms. Mayotte and I are going to spend a few minutes talking about the program and giving you all the details about it. And hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions at the end. It was important for me to start this by putting up what our program objective is for ITGL, the International Teaching Global Leadership Program. What we're looking to do is prepare international educators. All of you here are from other countries, so you are going to be our international educators. We're looking to create innovative education leaders who can transform schools, school systems, and other environments, such as businesses around the world. We have courses, and I'll describe these a little bit later on, that we call core courses and focus area courses. And what we try to do is build a foundation for all of our students that meld theory and practice together through 3 semesters of coursework, and also through practical experiences. And in this case, it would be our extended learning. And I'll talk about that also in a few minutes. So I'm going to have this slide build up all completely, and then I'll talk about each of the sections. So, why would you want to come to Johns Hopkins School of Education and be a member of the ITGL cohort? there are some real benefits to our program compared to other programs. First of all, we're a 33 credit program, except if you're in TEFL, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. We complete the program in 1 year. That is a fall semester, a spring semester, and a summer semester. Many schools take 2 or more years to complete the program. All of our courses are face-to-face classes, which means you'll be in the classroom with students. We do not offer this as a remote learning program because we believe a lot of what is a benefit to students is what occurs within the classroom. If you are looking to be a leader in your field, then this is the program for you. In fact, one of the courses we have is a leadership course where we study leadership theories. We provide a cultural transition person and support because we know many students, this is the first time they're in the United States and they need help learning the different things that happen here, whether it's going to the store, going to a bank, going to a restaurant, or just fitting into this country. So we have support that we provide to make sure that you all feel very comfortable while you're here. I spoke a few seconds ago about theory and practice. What I mean by that is you're going to get the theory in the classroom. When you're in the classroom, you'll be studying all the research and all the theories on that particular topic that the course is focusing on. But we all know that theory is great, but you have to see it also being implemented. And that's where the practice comes in. You'll have an opportunity through different extended learning experiences to actually see how the theories that you hear about in the classroom are presented in the class. In addition, many of our faculty that are teaching these classes are practitioners themselves. I come from a background in K-12, where I did curriculum, where I was responsible for developing instructional programs for schools. And I also worked as a quasi-principal in a school, leading the building. And I've already mentioned the faculty, and you will be working with many, many leaders in the field who have a tremendous amount of experience and want to share that with you. So who is the ITGL program made for? It's made for students who are interested in primary and secondary education. That's pre-K up through grade 12. Although we do have students who plan to work in colleges and want to learn about this so they can present the information in the college level. We want leaders. We want people who are interested in learning about the latest research in learning through brain research. I teach a course called Technology and the Science of Learning, where we focus on cognitive learning theory. Every one of the focus areas will give you a course where you really talk about cognitive theories, the latest theories about how people really do learn. And clearly, we are a research institute, and educational research is very important. You will be taking a course in action research where you learn how to do research and how to be critical about research. But in every one of the courses that you'll be taking, you'll be studying the current research that's available. So let's go for a quick overview. For the first set of facts, as I said, it's 33 credits. You take it over 3 semesters. If you're in TEFL, there's an additional 2 credits, and those are the only 2 online remote classes that we do offer. The 33 credits are broken up with 11 credits in the fall, 14 credits in the spring, and 8 credits in the summer. All courses are delivered face-to-face. Most of the courses that you'll take will be done in the School of Education. We have our own building, but then there are other classes that you will be taking on the main campus. The campus is located in Baltimore. In the current year that we're in now, our current cohort has 159 students. And it is important to know that we are a cohort. That means that every semester, all of the students take the same core courses. The focus areas are really based upon what your particular interest is, but all students take the same courses each semester. And as I said before, it's done in 3 semesters, a fall, a spring, and a summer. And the program is completed in 1 academic year. So let's talk about focus areas. There are 6 focus areas that are available to our students. You must select 1 focus area that you will be working with while you're in the program. Each focus area has 3 different courses that you would take, one in the fall, one in the spring, and one in the summer. These are the different focus areas that you see up in front of you. Sometimes it's called a major, but we don't really call that because it's not as many courses that you might find in a major. The first one is early childhood. That's a program for those students who are interested in learning and working with age 2 to age 8. And courses there focus on that age group. Digital age teaching and learning. That's the one focus area that I manage personally. And that's for students interested in learning how technology can be integrated into instruction. It's not a programming one. We don't expect students to have a computer science background or programming languages. It really is instead focusing on how technology is integrated successfully in the classroom. Creative and Innovative Education is a program that's been that we have a focus area that we have available for those students who are interested in looking at different ways education could be delivered beyond the norm in the classrooms. A lot of the courses, we have a course in creativity that we really just focus on what does creativity mean and how do you develop a program that's very creative or different than the norm. For those students who may not be going into the classroom and are interested in going into the business of education, we have entrepreneur education. Through those focus areas, you learn how to create a business plan and sustain it and maintain it. So if you're thinking about going into the business of education, entrepreneur education will be available for you. The new one that we're going to be implementing next year, and we're all very excited about it, is Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. This will be the first year, next year, for the STEM program. And we have a world-renowned professor who will be leading that particular focus area. So if you're interested in the STEM area, that program may be one that you want to do. The one that we just started this year is Teaching English as a Foreign Language. If you're interested in going back home and teaching English to your students, then TEFL is the one for you. Okay, let's talk about the advantages of the program. First of all, we offer an ITGL orientation. All students, we begin the last week in August, but we expect our students to come the week prior, and you'll get notifications if you decide to join us in our program. And we provide an orientation to help you understand ITGL, Baltimore, Johns Hopkins University. We take you on tours of the campus. We have different speakers come in to talk about the different aspects of Hopkins as well as ITGL. We provide cultural exchange and enrichment activities to our students, whether it's going to a baseball game, having social events in the Maryland or at the school. We also look at this program as more than just an academic program. We know that you're here for an entire year and we want you to feel that you're part of our family. In order to do that, we provide different social activities and events when it's permitted. Now, the problem, of course, this past year, as COVID has really limited the ability that we have to provide large group food activities. So we've had to really curtail it quite a bit. However, we're hoping that come the fall, and COVID will be on the wane, will be more social events and outings for all of our students to attend. Okay. And then the important part that I talked about before is you do get the formal instruction in the classroom, and that's in a face-to-face situation. But we also know there's a lot of informal learning that takes place. Johns Hopkins is a hub of activity that in many, many different kinds of clubs, the gym, there's all kinds of lectures that you can attend. And in addition, we have our extended learning. So you'll get some informal learning experiences along with it. We also know that English is not your native language. And because of that, we wanted to provide as much support as possible. So we have tutoring that's free and available to you on call. All you need to do is make an appointment and then you can meet with the tutor. If you're having problems in the class, if you want to have a paper reviewed before you submit it, our tutors will go over it with you and make sure that you structure it. Because we know that there are some specific needs for international students. We want to make sure that we we cover all those different needs. So here's the way the curriculum is established. In the fall, you'll take 11 credits, and there are 2 types of classes that you take, even though you see 3 lines. The first type are what we call our core courses. The core courses everybody takes together. So in the fall, you'll have 3 of those core courses. You may have 20 to the maximum number of students we have in a class is 24. But in that class, you'll be in with students in all the different focus areas. You may not be in with, if you're a digital age teaching and learning student, you may be in the class with some creative and innovative students, some TEFL students, some entrepreneur and education students. We mix them all up. And that really helps for a good interaction among the students. Okay, we also, beyond those courses, we have focus area courses. And those are specifically established for you to be in with only students interested in the same focus area that you're in. Beyond the three credit courses you take, there's a 2 credit seminar course, and then an extended learning experience. You'll be able to sign up for an extended learning experience outside of, it's a non-credit course, but it's outside of the school. So you'll be taking what you learn and using it in an environment. You may decide you want to go into a school and work with a teacher in a school. You may want to work in a business. You may want to work, we have some students that are working this semester in the School of Health, and they're actually doing curriculum development for it. So there's a wide variety of activities that will be available for you to choose from. In the fall, you take 11 credits. In the spring, you take 14 credits, and then you finish up in the summer with 8 credits. Okay. Now, there's a website that's shown there that's important for you to have. We'll be sharing the websites at the end so that you know where to go to get more information. I'm going to ask Ms. Mayotte to talk about the student testimonials. We put this up here for you so that you can see that what our students believe about our program.
Thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff. We often have trouble selecting the quotes to put on this slide because our students and our alums have so many wonderful things to say about their experience in the program. As you can see on this slide, we've selected 4 quotes, and we picked these out because we think they speak to some of the strengths of the program. So as Dr. Weisenhoff said before, we know that for many of our students, this is the first time out of your country, and coming to the United States, we really put such an effort on creating the environment that makes our students feel comfortable and that there is support for you. Many of our students experience this as feeling like a big family, and that always makes us happy when we hear that. Our students also appreciate the quality of the educational experience, the faculty they come into contact with in our classes, the esteemed faculty who are so well known in their field. This is something our students really appreciate. This 3rd quote here talks about what Dr. Weisenhoff said earlier about a program that is both theory, grounded in the research, but then also includes within it the opportunity to experience what really happens in classrooms, in educational organizations, because we include in our curriculum the opportunity for our students to go out beyond the classroom and find those experiences within the framework of the program. And then the last quote here really speaks to what we clearly feel is the grounding strength of the program, which is our belief in the importance of global education, of an international perspective. And this is something that our students coming from so many different walks of life and so many different places bring to us here in the Baltimore area. So I could go on, but I think I'll stop at this point. Thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff. And with that, I'll turn it back to our colleagues in the admissions office to talk about our application requirements.
Thank you, Ms. Mayotte. Good morning again, everyone. So now we'll move on and continue by going over the application requirements for the program. Applicants must submit a completed application, which can be found on our website. The application fee is $80. You will need to also submit a current resume or CV. Next, an essay must be uploaded. Please visit our website on the admissions page to learn more about the essay portion of the application. Additionally, 2 letters of recommendation are required as well. If you are unable to have 1 academic letter of recommendation, we will accept 2 professional letters of recommendation. Next, we will also need all official transcripts, including institutions you may have taken courses but did not earn a degree. Lastly, the application process begins with a video screening administered by ACEE Global. Applicants who complete the screening phase and meet the admissions criteria will be instructed by ACEE to submit an online application to the ITGL program. For fall 2022 admission, applicants are encouraged to complete the application requirements as early as possible before the program reaches capacity. Application decisions are delivered to candidates on a rolling basis, typically 4 to 5 weeks after the application is submitted with all materials received. The final application completion deadline is March 31st, 2022. There are a few additional steps you'll need to take in order to complete the application process if you are an international student. For non-US citizens from countries where English is not the official language, you're required to submit a TOEFL or IELTS score. If you hold qualifying degrees or earn credits from institutions outside the United States, you must have your academic records evaluated by an accredited independent credential evaluation agency before you can be considered for admission to a degree program. Please note that it's the student's responsibility to provide the necessary paperwork and payment to an approved evaluation service, and to request an official copy of the report be sent to the Johns Hopkins School of Education admissions office directly from the credential evaluation agency. This slide applies to you if you are a US citizen or a permanent resident of the United States. If you're interested in applying for federal financial aid, we strongly encourage you to apply for financial aid when you start your application. Please visit our website if you have any questions relating to financial aid. At this time, I'll hand the floor back to Ms. Mayotte, and she will go over the tuition and fees, ACEE services, and next steps.
Thank you, Ms. McMillan. On the slide in front of you right now, you will see the ITGL tuition and fees that are in place for the academic year that begins in the fall. You will see next to tuition that there are 2 tuition amounts. Tuition for all focus areas except TEFL is $50,400. The TEFL tuition is higher because, as Dr. Weisenhoff mentioned, there are some additional courses that are offered through the TEFL focus area. So the tuition for TEFL is $53,400. Now, as you can see on this line, there is an asterisk, and what this indicates is that all of our students, when they accept our offer of admission, are asked to pay the $3,000 non-refundable tuition deposit. This tuition deposit is part of your tuition. So when you end up paying the balance of your amount by May 27th, then it will be $3,000 less than that. Okay. The next line here is JHU insurance. And all international students at Johns Hopkins University are full-time students, and they are all required to purchase insurance through the university. We estimate the cost of that will be $4,000 for the entire year, and our students pay for that upfront. The technology fee that all our students pay is $1,500. As you heard previously, there is an application fee that those of you who have already started your application know this, that you pay this $80 application fee when you submit your application. So the total mandatory expenses are at the bottom line here. For all focus areas except TOEFL, the amount is $55,980. And if you are selecting the TEFL focus area, the amount is $58,980. Now, those are the mandatory fees, and in a few moments in the next slide, I will actually talk a little bit about some optional services that you could select if you are interested. So we can go ahead and turn to the next slide, please. Thank you. So one of the ways in which we like to let our students know that we're providing support for them is that we offer you the option to select services through our partner, ACE Global. ACE helps us by offering housing that could be available to you if you select this. Now, the reason this is so helpful is that at Johns Hopkins University, graduate students often have there's not much housing around the main campus. I think that's the way I'd like to put it. And so for international students who are coming to this country, it is not the easiest thing in the world to arrive in the country and have to look for housing and then look for furnishing for the housing and get yourself settled. So we provide a service through ACE that allows you to select housing, and you can select different types of housing. You could select a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom or a studio. And this housing then comes furnished. So you don't have to worry about the basics that you would need to be to settle in with linens and kitchen needs and so forth. The housing also includes utilities such as high-speed internet and just the basic utilities that would be required for living in an apartment in the United States. So on the right side of this slide, you can see additional, what we call amenities. That would be the benefits of housing. One of the most important and valuable things we think is that the housing we make available is right across the street from the library, from the main campus of Johns Hopkins. It's very easily accessible. I won't read through all of these amenities, but you can see that there is quite a bit that is really appreciated by our students who select the housing, including that you would have transportation to and from the airport offered by our ACE partner who helps us with this. All of the information about housing, by the way, is available on our ITGL cohort site. And the link for that cohort site is included at the end of this presentation. So you can actually look at the apartments, the floor plan, and exactly what they would look like. So we want to make as much information about the housing available to you beforehand. So we can go on to the next slide. Thank you, which talks about the other opportunity, the other option that you could select if you are interested. So ACE provides two types of services. One is the housing that I just talked about, and the other one is career coaching services. And so we do know that our students who are interested in the ITGL cohort, who enroll and study for the year here, are very focused on what they will be doing after the program is completed, and they're looking to find ways of developing their skills for developing their career. And so ACE helps with that experience. So you can see on this slide, the career services includes many sorts of benefits, including assessment of your career so far, advising and coaching services, networking experiences, and many ways that are very interesting to our students and very helpful and very practical. Again, more information about the career services is available on our ITGL cohort site. And as part of our admissions process, we ask all our students to make a decision about these services, because you will need to make that decision and make those selections on your acknowledgement form that you would be signing in the process. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So if we could go on to the next slide, please. So our process for admissions includes, we've tried to make it very clear with the next few slides here. There are 12 steps that we've spelled out specifically. The first one, and I'll just say a few words about each of these. The first step is that once we offer admission to you, you would then make the decision to accept the offer, and you would do that in the Slate portal. And as I talk about each of these little steps here, you will see at the bottom of each step the name and email address of the person who is available to help you if you have any questions about the step. Step 2, and really this happens at the same time as step 1, is when you accept the offer, we ask that you pay your tuition deposit at the same time. And that is within 2 weeks of the offer of admission being extended. Step 3, you will receive, once you accept the offer of admission, you will receive an email from Johns Hopkins registration office that provides you specific information about how to set up your JHU email and your, what we call your JED ID, your student ID. This is such an important process and often overlooked by new students. So that's really important. Step 4 is that you would start the I-20 process as soon as our iHopkins portal is open to you. So we can go on to the next slide, please. So after accepting your offer, you would then make a decision. I was talking about this just a moment ago. You would make a decision about whether or not you want to choose housing and career services. Ms. Zollen Crowder with ACE Global is available to answer any of your questions. Once you have made a decision about your services, then we ask you to fill out a final selection form. And on this final decision form, you would also confirm your focus area. And I want to just say a word or two about this. Dr. Weisenhoff explained our 6 focus areas to you. When students apply to the program, they make a choice about which focus area they wish to pursue. Sometimes students change their mind. That's okay. We ask that you make your final decision at the point when you fill out your final decision form. Once that is submitted to us, I will create your acknowledgement form that will tell you exactly your total amount due. And we can go on to the next slide. And you will sign your acknowledgement form that says that you understand as a student in the ITGL cohort that you would be required to complete your getting started tasks, and that you would pay your total tuition, all of your mandatory fees and tuition, as well as your the cost of any options. All of that would be paid by May 27th. And so it's really an important step in the process to sign that acknowledgement form and recognize that this is a very serious decision and one that you're excited about making, we hope. And all of that needs to be done before you are able to register for classes. ITGL registration opens, and we always let students know when that begins. So we can go on to the next slide here. So we've covered quite a bit of information this morning, and we hope that you've had a chance to listen to the information and look at what's been on the slides. And if you have questions, I see that there might be one question in the chat. And the question is, I think I'd like to ask my colleagues in the admissions office, would you like to read the questions to us and then we can answer them?
Yes, Betsy, that works as well. So the first question we have is, if my budget is between 70,000 and 80,000, will it be enough to complete the project?
I'd be happy to respond to that question. Yes, you would find that so here's the way I would answer that, is that you would want to take a look at the total amount for the mandatory expenses, which I shared on the slide earlier. And then you would need to look at finding housing that would fit within your budget. And that is certainly doable. Now, you also need to, as students, recognize that there are other expenses, and you need to budget for food and textbooks and other living expenses. But I would say that I would certainly think that with good budgeting that would work out.
Thank you, Ms. Mayotte. Next question we have, I would like to ask about the TEFL focus area. What do we do in the practice? What is the ratio between theory and practice?
So I'll take a stab at that. The TEFL experiences that you have will be based upon what your interest is. We have a group of students who are working in a school that has a Chinese immersion program, and they're working with US students. There's a Chinese club that they work in after school with the students. And in addition, they're working in the Chinese classes, assisting students and the teacher. And that's in a Baltimore City public school. We have a group of students that are teaching Chinese to American students in McDonough School, which is a very prestigious private school in the area. We have several students who decided that what they wanted to do was to go to different museums in the area and see how how China is being represented there, and come up with activities that they could use to bring back home. So I mean, and then we have people who are working in different businesses that are doing curriculum development in that area. So I mean, it's a varied amount of activities. Okay, the theory and the balance between theory and practice. Well, all your classroom experience is where you're going to get your theory. So think about how much time you'll be spending in the class. A typical class meets once a week for 2.5 hours. That's your time where you'll get your theory. And then in addition, the practicum or extended learning experience runs typically around 4 hours a week.
Thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff. Next question we have, how much is the housing fee? And then it's sort of a two-part question. Is it possible to have a gap year if I get admitted this year?
So I'm happy to answer this question, and I'll take the second question first. This idea of a gap year, we would probably call a deferred admission, and the answer to that is unfortunately no. This program does not offer a deferral of admission. And actually, that's one of our policies that is listed on the ITGL website. And we do ask all students who are looking at the program, all applicants who are looking at our program, to please look at the information that we have available on our website. So thank you for asking that question, and to be clear about that. The other question about housing and the cost of housing, I could say that it ranges in cost, and the amounts for the housing are also available on our website. And if a student selects a 2-bedroom housing, it's somewhere close to 17,000, 18,000. And then the more expensive housing would be a single bedroom, and it would be higher, more in the range of 20,000. Our students often, look to find roommates with other ITGL students, and our ACE Global partner can help students with finding roommates. So that can be helpful too.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mayotte. The next question we have is, what type of questions will be asked during the 15-minute language proficiency screening?
Dr. Weisenhoff, I'll start with a few
I
comments
was waiting
here.
for you to jump in, Ms. May.
Let me start, and then please share, please go ahead and add to that. So the language proficiency screening is an opportunity for our applicants to do several things. One is to let us know what it is that you are interested in the program. So why are you attracted to the program? Telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, and the focus area that you're interested in. So even though what we're really looking for and listening for is the language proficiency, English language proficiency, what we're also wanting to hear is just a little bit more about you and your interests and why this program and why Johns Hopkins University is of interest to you.
Right, and why you're choosing the focus area you're choosing, and also what you're going to do with it when you leave us. So we want the whole point, from my perspective on this, beyond the language proficiency, is, you're applying to our program. It's a partnership. We want you to come to the program because you're the best qualified candidate for it. But we also want to make sure that we're not wasting your time or your money, because it is expensive. So we want to make sure that whatever your goals and objectives are, they really match what we're all about at ITGL. Because the last thing we want to do is have students who are not satisfied with the experiences they have at Hopkins.
All right, the next question we have is it possible for us to take classes from other division like public health?
The answer is you can, okay? And we have some students. I know that we've got a student this semester who's taking a class at the Peabody Music School. It's possible to do it. The only thing I caution anybody about, it's additional cost, but more importantly, what we're finding this semester especially was we're starting to hear the students are very, very, very busy with the classes and the experiences that they have now. We purposely only do 11 credits the first semester, because we want you to ease into the school. But even the 11 credits it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of after class work. When I said 2.5 hours in the class, that's true. But then you leave class and you have all your assignments and readings and everything else that has to be done. So it takes a lot of time. So yes, you can, but I caution you carefully about that, because what you may find is that you really don't have the time to take additional courses beyond what this program requires.
I wonder if I might add just another
Please.
word. Yes, on the administrative aspect of this. So Johns Hopkins University is made up of, as Ms. Gian said in the beginning, 9 very well-known schools and divisions. And, our students are often very interested in what the other schools at Johns Hopkins are doing. And we understand that. And so when we've had students who have wanted to try to register for courses in other divisions, it's not easy to do. And here's the reason. The other schools will want to make sure that they have allowed for all of their own student registrations to take place before they accommodate students from other schools. So often, students end up having to wait to see if they can even get in the course. So it's really, this is just another note of caution about it. It is possible to do, but it's a little complicated, and we can't, those of us who work in the ITGL cohort program, we can't really make it happen. We can show you how to do it, but it's just something that it takes some persistence on the student's part. But we have persistent students. Would you agree, Dr. Weisenhoff?
Very much so. I'm always amazed at what the experiences our students find on their own. I remember one time we took a group of students to the Baltimore Museum of Art, and I came to find out when I was there that one of our students was already there being a docent and working with teaching art on Saturdays to students who come in to learn more about art. I had no idea she was doing that. Then I found out another student became president of the Chinese club here at the university in her first semester. Another student decided they were going to do some accounting work, so she got an accounting voluntary position that she was doing. It's amazing to me how many of our students take advantage of the many opportunities that are here in the Baltimore area that go beyond what happens in the classroom and in the ITGL program.
Yeah, that's so true.
All right, so the next question we have is, I would like to ask about the entrepreneur program. Do you require students to have prior experience in entrepreneur? What did students do in the practice part in the entrepreneur focus area?
So you don't have to have prior experience. Usually what happens is what I found in interviewing and reading the interviews of the students and the essays, students have an idea in mind about a business that they would like to start when they leave our program. And what they spend the time doing while they're here is focusing on, okay, this is my idea. Now let me develop it more. And they spend the time creating a solid business plan through our faculty. The entrepreneur and education faculty are all people who have started their own businesses that are focused on education. So, I mean, that is the kind of faculty that you have, and that's what you'll be expected to do within the classroom setting. Where they do their practical experiences, it really runs the gamut. We have people who are working in all kinds of businesses, not paid, they are not paid positions. But it really, what we try to do is match up what your interest is into a practical experience that works. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you have something that you want to do that's so uniquely different that we really can't do a match, and we try to do the best we can. But our extended learning program is constantly evolving. Each year we've tried different things to try to make it better for students. This year, our students are working in teams of 5. Entrepreneur students, I know a group of students are working with somebody who has an online business, and he's in Scotland, and they meet remotely, and they're working on developing, helping him market his business. And that's just one example. So, I mean, it really is, it runs the gamut. And I couldn't specifically tell you what you'd be doing, and it is based upon what your specific interest is.
All right, so the next question we have, thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff, which is, how about the career data for the graduates in this program last year? Can I find work in the United States upon graduation? Please give an example.
Okay, so let's start about work in the US. So I'm sure you're all aware of OPT. If not, you want to take a look at that optional practical training. Students who finish our program, who are here on an F1 student visa, are allowed to remain 6 months to a year in this country and do work as long as it's associated specifically with their area of study. We have, I'd say, about 50% of our students who decide that is something they would like to do. And starting about now, our current cohort is beginning to explore different places where they would like to work. There is a network of alumni that help. We have presenters that come in to talk about finding positions in the country. But these are F1 visa students, which means at the end of the 1 year time period, they must return home. If you want to remain beyond that, and you're not a U.S. citizen, then you have to get a different kind of a visa, and we do not help with that. Honestly, it is beyond our capabilities. As far as where our graduates go when they leave, again, they're all many different places. What I would recommend you do is go to our ITGL website and look at our alumni there. We try to maintain at least a small database of where the students are, and you can look them up and communicate directly with them. We are on, informally, our students have created their own WeChat areas, and our alumni are communicating with our current cohort on a regular basis, from what I understand. It's nothing that we monitor, but I do know that that is occurring. We have students, I still communicate with a student from the first cohort, which was 5 years ago, and she was interested in early childhood, and she is working in a child care center, helping to run the child care program. I have students that many of our students decide they want to continue their education, either in a doctoral program or in a second master's program. So we have a group of students that do go on to continue their studies. It really depends on what your particular interest is. But I would recommend that all of you take a look at our ITGL website, where we have pictures and biographies and email addresses so that you can reach out to them yourselves and find out what it is they're doing, and they can tell you about other people. I know I have one student the first year, he started his own business when he went back to China, and he actually hired 5 of our students. So he has five ITGL students working with him.
Thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff. Next question that we have, do you have scholarship and grants for international students? You'll see in the chat area that I did include some links to external websites that offer loan and scholarship information for international students. So I encourage you to access those links in the chat and just save those for your reference. Next question we have.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
So I wanted to add one other comment on this. We have in our, I think just finishing up in his cohort right now, we have a student from Kazakhstan who was able to, who has a scholarship from his own country, fully funded scholarship to attend our program. So if there are resources within your own country that you could look to as well, I would highly encourage that. If it's a situation where you need, information from the university, we helped a lot in that scholarship process. So you can let us know if that's a possibility for you. So please look to your own resources as well, because this is a university that is well known throughout the world and may be well known within your own country as well. So let us know if we can be of any help with that.
Thank you for adding that, Ms. Mayotte. Next question we have, is it necessary to have a science academic background to choose STEM as a focus area?
It is not. You just have to have an interest in going into the STEM area. I just reviewed an application for somebody who's interested in going to STEM, and her undergraduate degree is in accounting. But what she decided in her 3rd year of her degree was that she wanted to go into education, and she had an interest in mathematics. So she decided that STEM would be the area that she was interested in. It's really more about your own particular interests.
Next question we have, is it possible to complete and graduate from the program within 3 semesters? What is the minimum number of credits to be taken per semester?
Okay, so I've already talked about the distribution: 11 credits in the fall, 14 credits in the spring, 8 credits in the summer. So it's completed in 3 semesters.
Thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff. Does the program, next question we have, does the program lead to a teaching credential?
I can start the US side of it. We are not a certificated program in that in this country, to get a US teaching certificate, you have to take specific courses and also have a student teaching experience. We do not provide that within this program. This program is not accredited to provide teacher certification. You'll have to look at what your own country's requirements are, and whether or not the courses you take here meet the needs of that particular certification requirement.
All right, it looks like there are no more questions. And here on this page, you'll find some important contact information. Any admissions related questions, please reach out to Ms. McMillan. Here's her email address. Any program related questions, Ms. Mayotte and Ms. Herman. Thank you again for your interest in the Johns Hopkins School of Education. We look forward to hearing from you. And thank you, Ms. Mayotte and Dr. Weisenhoff, for joining us today and for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you. And thank you for all those good questions, everyone. Could you move it to the next slide, please? Yes, this is the URL for the ITGL cohort site that you heard us mention. And there's so much important information on this site, so please do take a look at this.